Hello, crafty friends, and welcome. Amanda with Crafty with Amanda. This is the Coast to Coast for May 2023 collaboration, and our prompts this month are friendship, definition, stamps, and repurposing. So for me, when I have these kind of prompts, I look at them to see what's going to guide me in the photos. And the funny thing is when I first saw these, I was like, oh, I've got this. This is easy. But as I went to create my layout, it became more difficult. Repurposing was one that I really struggled with. I had to kind of think about it for a while, and I walked away and made some supper. And as I was thinking about supper, then it came to me. This is also a month for May I Scrap Lift You, and I am doing a scrap lift of Shannon Bliss at One Scrappy Mom 71. So you can see her layout here in the upper right corner, and I was looking at my photos. I am still doing photos from the big group that I had rolled the dice to randomly select which photos I would do next, and I came out with this huge envelope of photos from our California home. So this happens to be the evening that we had our first meal at the house. For many reasons, if you've heard the story, I apologize. We just had a lot going on with demo happening at the house and trying to get out of the rental house, but make this home something we could live with, even with walls blown out and holes in the floors. So it was a challenge. So this is a day that our son had a friend over, and Cameron and Nate were just playing basketball and hanging around outside the house while Gerald and I were kind of cleaning things and trying to figure out how we were going to be able to live in a 90% deconstructed home during COVID times when we were all going to be living on top of each other. So again, I looked at the photos and I went to my stash and found this wonderful paper of flower garden, and it just worked. There's bougainvillea that you can see behind my husband's head. That was a really bright fuchsia raspberry color. And then the plates kind of had that capri tone in them. And looking at the layout here from Shannon, she just has layered all these papers in behind this wonderful Disney adventure she's having. And then she also has, I don't know if you can see this, it looks like a textured paste. It could just be an overlay underneath the bottom and the top of her matting photos in that. But I decided I was going to do it with a stencil. And you can see I had accidentally put down all of my mats of papers, layers of papers, before I realized, oh, I need to get a stencil under there. So you can see I took the Cricut spatula and pulled up all of the glue and the papers, and that's what's leaving those little worm trails on the page. But they're all going to be covered by the paper, so I'm not worried about it. It actually kind of gives me a good idea of where I need to put the stenciling. And for this stenciling, if you're not familiar with Pigment ink is wonderful in that it will stay on top of your cardstock or your paper. It dries on top, so you can put a lighter color on top of a darker color cardstock. With regular dye ink, it soaks into the paper, so if I were trying to use a dye ink of a white or even a lighter color than this sapphire blue, you might see it as a watermark, but for the most part you just wouldn't see it. So this is Pigment ink I'm using, and then I'm also using these 3 blotches of kind of background noise speckles from the 1 in a Million set. And I'm trying to emulate on Shannon's layout all of the, I don't know if they were brads or stickers that she put kind of in the upper left and lower right corner, but that's what I'm trying to do here. And then I don't know if you noticed, but you can see my husband's foot in the bottom corner of the photo of the boys. And so by overlapping them, I don't think you really lose anything. You actually get kind of proximity for where they were sitting on our back deck. And we hadn't brought much stuff over to the house yet. So we have this old orange crate. It was rickety. It was in the garage when we purchased the house. And so we're using it kind of as a side table. And I had a jug of lemonade that I'd made, and then also a jug of water that I had brought up from the rental house so that we could have a way to wash our hands and have water accessible to us. There was a working bathroom, which was good, but because of doing all the cleaning, or I hadn't cleaned it yet, I wasn't sure what state we would be at. So here again, I'm using the sticker sheet from the Flower Shop collection. And I don't know if you have this problem, if it's something that, I grew up with, you had to save your crayons, and money was tight, and being on the farm, money was tight. And so I have had and struggled with using stuff, because once you use it, it's gone. And then with Close to My Heart supplies, I use it, and then I see somebody else that did something remarkably clever with those same products, and I can't do it anymore because I've used mine. But I am working on getting over that. If you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. For the most part, I realize that I have more paper than I can use for many, many years. I love technique, so using stencils and all of that is something I enjoy. I do need to apologize. I had got out my Misty to show stamping this my own title, and I am using the stamp set from the Hello Darlin' scrapbooking layout. And it has this leaf on it that you can see in the background of my homemade title. But apparently my film of this got lost. And so I had taken the leaf and I turned that square of the title around. So if you kind of look, the leaf is stamped in the same place around the edges. And then I relocated that leaf multiple times and just turned the base. So I apologize that that's not on here. I hope you understand what I did. So going back to my repurposing issue, I realized since it's Home Sweet Home and you have keys when you go to a new house, that I needed to go find an old key. And this is one that I had for our shop at the farm. And I had written right on it the word shop. So I was showing you the trick there, that if you've used a Sharpie pen to write on something, if you use a little bit of hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol, you can get that off. So I just added some string here, and I met all the criteria. Friendship is Nate and his friend. The definition, I put blessed, bringing of joy or good fortune, and being able to purchase this house during or right before the COVID was fantastic. So our prompts for June are special days, inspiration, new products, and again, repurposing. So I guess I'll have to pull this out ahead of time, make sure that I have an idea of what I want to do for repurposing again. New products should be easy. That should be fun, right? And since the prompt tells me to do it, I won't have trouble using any of the stickers because I'm supposed to. So special days and inspirations. If you want to join along, be sure to add your hashtag C2C June 23 so that we know to look for your project. Be sure to check out what all the other Coast to Coast Close to My Heart makers have done. They'll be in the description below the video, as well as all products used. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do that now. Blessings.